Hi, I'm Steffi. I'm a Katonahyoga teacher from Cologne, and I'm the co-founder of Holy, a yoga studio in Cologne. I prepared some classes for you, some Katonahyoga classes, and we don't practice usually with music, but if you feel the vibe to support yourself with some music, you will find a playlist in the description box below. This is the 15 minutes Katonah yoga class, and we will do lots of twisting. This is Dani. She will demo the class, and we will begin in a standing L position. We will use a chair. You can use a chair as well, but you could also use whatever is suitable for you that has maybe the same height as your hips, maybe a window ledge or maybe a chair, a table, whatever. So we start in an L, and Dani will take her feet underneath her hips, and then she will have her hands on the highest height of the chair. So in this position, she can have a look at her feet, and we will position the feet hip distance, maybe a little bit wider. So we can press lots of weight into our feet. Then you can bend the knees slightly, stick your sitting bones a little bit away and maybe a little bit up. And so we lengthen our spine. So this is the first position we start in. The standing L. And maybe it looks quite easy, but as you are in this position, your task is to get the longest spine ever. So what you will do is like pointing the top of the head forward and pointing the sitting bones back. And then without lifting the head, you can press the sternum a little bit more forward. Good. So in this position, you can try to elongate the spine as we already did, and then press more into the feet so that your feet are really sustainable. So in Katonahyoga, the feet, the legs, and also the hips are part of the first floor. So we try to put all our weight into the first floor so that the rest of the body is really free. And we can test this. So take your left hand and put it onto your back. The palm of the hand faces down. Nice. And then over the side, you can bring the hand and the arm back towards the front and bring it back onto the chair. We switch sides. So take the other arm, bring it from the side onto the back. Nice. And then over the side, bring the arm back to the front. We do this one side more, each side one time more. And while you're doing this, you can see on Dani, like all her weight is in her feet and in her legs, and there is no weight or almost no weight in her arms. Okay, good. Next time we're in the front, we stay here. You try to get the spine as long as possible, and with a little bit of slow movements, you will walk your hands down towards the ground. Bring your hands towards your feet and hang over your legs. So we don't need the chair or whatever you have for your hands anymore. And then now, Dani and you can hang over your legs and find a perfect fit between your knees and your armpits. Also, Dani widened her feet a little bit, which is really nice, to get the knees better into your armpit. And now in this position, she can try to go a little bit more forward with her hands. Good. Come on fingertips if you can. And try to get the longest spine almost the same than you had before on the chair. Okay, nice. Stay here just for a bit. Press all the weight into your feet, almost no weight into your hands. And then bring your hands a little bit more back so they're underneath your shoulders. Come on fingertips if you can. Good. And again, try to get a very, very long spine. So we need this as the base for the twists. We will now add the twist. And It has no use to bring the twist into the body without having the base of a very long spine and all the way in the feet and in the hips. So you bring the right hand right underneath your face, and the left arm sweeps over the left side up towards the sky. Good. Then we change directions. Bring the right arm back and lift the left arm over the left side. Good. And then bring the left arm back over the side and then switch other arm. Yeah, don't go back. Over the side and then bring it back over the side, just down. Yeah. It's an opening, lifting the arm up, and a closing, lifting the arm down. Okay, again, do this a few times in your own rhythm. Nice. And then try to get all the weight into your feet and into your legs, and there's no weight in the second floor, which in Katonah is the arms, the upper back, the front, the sternum. So as you can see on Dani, she can really open up and twist. She doesn't stop where she thinks that there's the end. She can go even more and even, like going more into the twist. Yeah, like leaning into the twist. And nice. When that is working really well, and it seems like this, you could also go into the diagonal. So the next time the left arm is on the floor, bring it more to the right. So in this version, she can open up a little bit more. Nice. And then she brings the hand down, crosses over, and then lifts the other arm. Yeah. Brings the arm down, crosses over first, bring both hands on the ground and cross them over like this. Yeah. And then first, both arms are on the ground, and then lift one arm and bring it up to the sky. Yeah. And then bring it back down, cross it over. Yeah. And then lift the other one up. Nice. Do this a few more times. And then when both arms are down, you can bend the knees. And when one arm is up, you can straighten the legs. Good. Bend the knees, bring the arm down, and then open the arm up and bend the knees again when you're down. Straighten the legs when you're up, bend the knees when you're down. Very nice. Okay, good. Do this a few more rounds and see if you can open up even more. And then when we do twists like this, you can see all her weight is in her legs, and she can really articulate her second floor and opening up and twisting even more. Good. So if that is working really nice, you could try to even not use your hands, bring your fingers together and maybe twist without having the hands on the floor. So Dani does version number 1, I do version number 2. So you can lift your upper body up and twist. Okay, good. Hang over your legs again. Come back into a hang. And then from here, from this position, we'll come into a downward facing dog. She can take your hands in front, bring them into a down dog. Good. Bend your knees, bring your sitting bones more towards the sky. Good. And then here in the downward facing dog, we try to get the same length in the spine as we did with the chair and also as we did in the hang. So we can see if she can maybe get a little bit longer in the spine. We test it. Can it come into a front, into a plank position? And then from a plank, go back into a downward facing dog. Good. Again, come into the front, into a plank position. Nice. And then bring it back into a downward facing dog. Just one more. Move into the front, into a plank. And then bring it back into a down dog. Okay, stay here. So maybe you notice after a repetition of a few of them that your spine is even longer than in the first round. And then the same here in the down dog as in the positions before. So all the weight goes into your feet, into your legs. So your upper body is really light, is really movable. So the second floor has a lot to do with having room and space to move. So we will tap this too. So you can take the left hand and bring it next to the outside of your right foot. and facing the palm up towards the sky. And then also Dani shortens the duck just a little bit, which is nice, so she can have better contact. The hand is next to the feet. And then she can let her head hang. So the head is almost touching the ground and her spine is really long. Okay, we switch the hands. Bring the left hand forward. Bring the right hand next outside to the outside of the left foot. Good. And then let your head hang. So it's almost touching the ground. So her spine can have more length. And then we take it back to the front and then we repeat. Take the first direction, slide it through. Nice. And then slide it back to the front. Slide it through. Slide it back to the front. Okay. Repeat this a few more times. And I know these ones are really challenging, but also the sequence is just like 15 minutes and you could repeat it. Like if that is your game, you could go on for 10 or more minutes just with this little sequence. Good. Okay, two more, two last ones. Nice. Okay, bring both hands to the front and then bend your knees and bring it all back into a child's pose. So move back, bring your hips towards your heels. Your hands can come into the front and you can widen your knees. So you can widen your knees almost mat distance so that you have the feeling of really being between your legs and you can move the hands more to the front. We will add just one little more twist here. So in this position, you can take your left elbow and put it in front of your right knee. Good. You can take your left hand and make it into a fist and bring the right hand on the fist as if it's a piece of paper. Both elbows are on the same height and then you twist around your spine. Good. The shoulder is not on the ground, it's floating. And when I see Dani from the front, I see one line from her head, through her spine, through her sitting bones. So this line, we call in Katonah, we call it the spit. So she can transition and move around her spit so she can twist and twist and twist as if there is no end. Oh my God, there is no end. Nice. So, sometimes we also say that human beings, we tend to stop before we are finished. And then you can remember that. And then you can go even more around yourself. Yes. The pose never finishes, right? You're in the pose, you stay there, and then you breathe. And through the breathing, maybe you can just go a little bit more. Okay, good. We'll do the other side. You can change. Bring the right elbow in front of the left knee. And then here you can see she makes a fist. The hand is over the fist and then both elbows are in one line. And she can open and open and open. She stays here. Twists are super good for having a good connection with your lungs. So you can breathe a little bit more deeply. You can bring the lungs more to the front. You can twist around yourself even more. Yeah, so the pose is never finished. And now you can see her third floor, like her head and her eyes, and she can look almost to the sky. Good. She can. Good. Bring yourself back into a child's pose, and we finish here. As I said before, you can also decide to go back to the beginning and then repeat all we just did. So you have a little sequence. And then with repetition, magic arises. So more often you repeat the sequence, the better is the flow. So you could do little things differently, and then you would see like the whole sequence is different. But if you decide to stay here, we have like a mini restorative positions. We use 3 blocks. So if you're lucky and you have 3 blocks, it's really nice. So I'll bring 2 blocks underneath her armpits. So she can bring the armpits over the blocks. And then there is a third one for her forehead. So she can take the forehead down. Yeah. And now Dani has me, so I can help her a little bit. But you could totally do that on your own. So what we can do is put the blocks exactly underneath the armpit and bring the arm a little bit more out to the side. So she's on fingertips, which I think is really nice. And the blocks support completely her armpits and therefore also her shoulders. So we end in that position, and that is really nice for her because what we try to do with the twists is bring more deep breathing into her lungs. And then now in this position, she can hang here, but then also she can breathe into her lungs and into her front, which is nice to give yourself a little bit of deep breathing and more room and more space in your body. If you have somebody that can support you, maybe you can get like a little bit of weight onto the back of your lowest spine, your sacrum. This is a Katonah restorative position, and then usually we don't end in Shavasana, we end in restoratives. So maybe choose your own adventure and stay here for another maybe 20 minutes, if you like so. Thanks for watching. If you want to practice more classes with me or with Dani, so please follow the YouTube channel from hejhej, and then you can experience more Katonah with me, if you like so. Thanks for watching.